The St. Louis Cardinals have a Central Division best 11 wins already this season, and much of the credit for this beginning can go to the starting pitching. Kyle Lowe's looks to be the steal of the offseason, already 2-0 with a 1.48 ERA in 4 starts. The ace of the staff is Adam Wainwright, 2-1 with an ERA that's under 3. The converted reliever, we'll see him on Sunday, and that's Braden Looper. He looks to go to 4-0. Tomorrow's starter, Joel Pinheiro, trying to build on a solid finish to last year. And tonight, another converted reliever, Todd Wellemeyer, looks to keep his record perfect and go to 2-0. The San Francisco Giants are in town, and it's game number 1, next on FSN Midwest. San Francisco and St. Louis, and it feels like San Francisco. Kind of cold, had the earthquake last night. The Giants are 6-10, and the Cardinals 11-5 so far this season. It was just a weekend ago that we saw the Giants on the West Coast, and last week it was Ryan Ludwig. This really began this hot streak that he is on, but yet he can't find his way into the starting lineup. See what he's done against the Giants, and Tony's saying, hey, there's a lot of competition right now, and that's a good thing, but Ludwig is not in the lineup, and yet he's hitting .390 for this team, but that tells you how things are going. That's Al Hrabosky. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and it's the first of 3 tonight against the Giants, and it's kind of a scary series if you're the Cardinals. I mean, you look at the Giants, not a great offensive club, but their pitching is really good.
Outstanding pitching. We're going to see some of that tonight and a lot more of it tomorrow, but they are a very intriguing ball club, and as the season goes along, they're probably going to get rid of even more of the veterans and bring up more young kids.
All right, we hope that the rain will stay away tonight. We've got baseball in store for you. Look at this. The Hungo from Houston to San Francisco, back here in St. Louis, helping out the grounds crew on a rainy night here in town. It's a Hungo Award night, too. Giants and A's, 1989 World Series, and the sights that you see there happened during game number 3, which was delayed, and then the series was delayed by 10 days. Eventually, Oakland and Tony La Russa would sweep that series over the Giants, and well, I think we all were shocked with what took place last night across the Midwest, and certainly here in St. Louis, and the earthquake that hit the Midwest, and I woke up, I'm sure you did as well. It was scary.
Well, I grew up in Southern California, so I was a little more accustomed to earthquakes, and I know we had the big fault down in New Madrid here. It's a matter of time. I remember the 1990 predictions of doom and gloom right here in St. Louis, that his downtown area is going to be destroyed, and then nothing happened. But they are quite unique. They're kind of fun to go through. You just hope there's no property damage or no loss of life like there was out in Oakland.
I gotta be honest, it wasn't a lot of fun last night at my house. I'm telling you, 2 little kids, shaky windows, it was a little bit scary. And speaking of, I gotta be honest, it's the famous catchphrase of our very own Jim Hayes, and he's downstairs. Jim.
Dan, I gotta be honest, I was up anyway going through my game day routine of memorizing one section of Who's Who in Baseball. Last night was Q Chad Qualls. As for the Cardinals, most of them say they slept through it, including Tony La Russa, who has some experience with earthquakes. Most of the California guys said if they did wake up, they identified it quickly as a small earthquake, then went right back to bed. Jason Isringhausen says he slept through it. His wife woke him up. Jason turned to his wife and said, get the kid, put her in bed, then he went back to sleep. And Todd Wellemeyer, one of the deeper thinkers on the Cardinals, said he woke up when the earthquake hit. He identified it as a small earthquake and quickly internalized the blame. He said it was caused by global warming. That's Todd Wellemeyer for you. Coming up, we'll shine our spotlight on Ryan Ludwig. Baseball straight ahead on FSN Midwest.
Welcome back to Busch Stadium, where tonight the Giants will face the Cardinals. It's Wellemeyer against King. Well, this evening, the FSN spotlight shines on Cardinals outfielder Ryan Ludwig. He is off to a terrific start. Ludwig leads the team with 10 extra base hits, a .390 average, and 11 RBIs. He was the 60th overall player taken in the 1999 draft by the Oakland A's. He's been with Texas, Cleveland, Detroit, And right now in St. Louis, Ludwig made a name for himself in college at UNLV, where he was one of their top players, a freshman All-American, and an all-conference performer his junior year. Last season with St. Louis, he had 303 at-bats, and his previous major league high was 162. So this may be the season where he gets to show the baseball world what he can do. Ludwig has said that playing baseball is living his dream, and his walk-off home run last year against Kansas City, his greatest moment thus far in the sport. He is 30 years old, and his brother Eric actually appeared in 31 games at the major league level over 4 seasons with the Cardinals, Oakland, and Toronto. Ludwig and his wife Joni make their offseason home in Austin, Texas. That's outfielder Ryan Ludwig on the FSN Spotlight. The Cardinals and the San Francisco Giants tonight from Busch Stadium here in St. Louis. It was just a week ago that these two teams split a 4-game series 2-2. Our countdown to first pitch is just above 3 minutes to go. When we come back after this timeout, it's your starting lineups and your first pitch from Todd Wellemeyer. It's the Cardinals and the Giants. Lineups being exchanged. Baseball coming up on FSN Midwest. Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. By Auto Tire. For the lowest prices in town, 26 locations to serve you. You ought to go to Auto Tire, the tire pros. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. By Geico Direct, a 15-minute phone call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines, you're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today. Bill Finley, the groundskeeper here in St. Louis, has one of the toughest jobs in baseball. The heat of the summer here in St. Louis, it can't be an easy job to grow grass. That's one of the favorite things of Mike Shannon to talk about when we go to Pittsburgh. Boy, they know how to grow grass here.
They can grow.
I don't know why he says it, but he does every time we're there. They sure know how to grow grass. But Bill Finley has a tough job. First pitch at 7:14 here in St. Louis. Our Rico starter is Todd Wellemeyer, making his 4th start, has a record of 1-0. And he's facing Fred Lewis. Lewis is off to a good start.
Last time he faced the Giants out in San Francisco, the Giant hitters were very impressed with his velocity, and in particular his slider.
You and I talked about that, the fact that his slider has a lot better bite this year. He was good in spring training. Opponents only hit 230 against him. And the strikeouts are really high. I mean, the one thing you know about Todd Wellemeyer, he throws hard. They say it's a heavy ball that he throws. What is a heavy ball?
Well, a heavy ball, it's almost, you know, some guys throw the ball and it's real light. A heavy ball is usually a sinker ball pitcher, and it feels like you play catch with him, and it's like you're catching a shot put. It just hurts to play catch sometimes.
2-2 pitch. Full count. This is one of the problems, though, for Wellemeyer. Goes deep into a lot of counts, and if he is going to stay, you see the 3rd highest percentage in the major leagues this season for Lewis as far as on-base percentage. He's going to stay in the rotation. He's got to be able to go deeper than 5 or 6 innings.
And that's always a byproduct. Now, he's a big, strong guy, and that's one of the reasons why Dave Duncan targeted him for the starting rotation. But you're right. I mean, he's always fighting that 100-pitch barrier around, you know, 4.5 to 5 innings.
Here is the Giants lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Lewis, Velez, Wynn, Molina, the cleanup man, Boker, Rowan, Castillo, Pocock, and Kane. Aaron Rowan against the Cardinals, a .328 hitter. Eugenio Velez, the second baseman. They really like this guy. Shows bunt, looks at a strike.
Very exciting young player. He's a switch hitter. His natural side is the right side, and his numbers are dramatically better there.
I know you talked to Bruce Bochy before the game, the manager of the Giants, and I'm sure for him, he spent a lot of years now in California. That must have felt like being in California for him last night.
Well, he said he was up on the 6th floor of their local hotel, and he said he woke him up and took him a minute to, am I in San Francisco or am I on the road? But he said it was shaking the building pretty good.
The 0-2 pitch misses outside, 1-2. Wellemeyer's battery mate tonight is Jason LaRue. The day game tomorrow, so Molina will go tomorrow. LaRue gets the start tonight.
One thing about the Giants, they have tried to really generate their offense with some speed. There's another punch out and a strikeout of Velez. Let's meet the Cardinals defense as we go around the horn. 2 strikeouts to start the game for Todd Wellemeyer. Duncan in left. Ankiel is in center. Skip Schumacher gets the start in right. Gloss on the left side of the infield along with Cesar Esteuris, Adam Kennedy, and Albert Pujols on the right side. And as we mentioned, Jason LaRue behind the plate. This is a Giants team that has 17 stolen bases, so they lead the league in steals. You have to go back to 1986. Last time that they led the league in steals, they had 148 that season. But not a lot of pop in this lineup, so they've got to generate offense some way, somehow.
Yeah, their slugging percentage is way down. And only hitting .235 as a team.
They are second in the major leagues in strikeouts in this lineup. As you mentioned, the worst slugging percentage in the league and the lowest on-base percentage as well.
Really not that much difference between their on-base percentage and their slugging percentage.
You get the feeling that Wellemeyer is pitching for his starting life every 5th day to stay in that rotation.
Well, that's one way to look at it. You know, Mulder's on his rehab. He's here in attendance tonight. You know, Carpenter's here in St. Louis right now. So these guys are kind of, looking over the shoulder and say, I better do something. And that's that competition that Tony says, I'll take the best 5.
The 2-1 pitch. We were at the Bud Sports breakfast yesterday morning, and Tony was a speaker, and he talked about the competition, not just in the starting rotation, but really it has a ripple effect because one of these starters then goes to the bullpen. What happens to a bullpen guy? What happens with the 5 outfielders? The competition has been a good thing.
It's a good thing, but the way the starting core has produced, is it really fair that somebody gets bumped and could possibly even go to the minor leagues for doing the job?
The 3-2 pitch on its way. Check swing. He strikes out the side. Good start for Wellemeyer. Cardinals coming up in their half of the first. There's a look at the right-hander, Matt Cain for San Francisco. He's a good one. There's Tony La Russa. The Cardinals are 10-2 when they score first.
Cain's only 23 years of age, and this is his 3rd full season in the big leagues. Very little run support. And what a gem he pitched last weekend against the Cardinals. He had a no-hitter going into the 7th inning. Eventually allowed a couple runs, and the Cardinals staged a comeback after he had a 5-0 lead.
A historic comeback at that for St. Louis. Cardinals, as you mentioned, were trailing in that game. And being no hit, 8-7 they would win in 10 innings on Saturday. No hit for 6 and down by at least 6. And yet the Cardinals come back. Here comes a 2-2 pitch to Skip Schumacher. Gets the start in right field. Spoils that pitch.
Schumacher going up there as a leadoff hitter and trying to go up there and make the pitcher work. Hit deep into a count, give himself a chance, and accept walks. He's already had 8 this year.
The 2-2 pitch. 3-2. One thing about this Cardinals lineup that they've done a very nice job of. Hal McRae talked about it being a point of emphasis in spring training that they'd like to go deeper into counts, and they have done that. They've really made these starters work.
And Dan, if you think about it, Dave Duncan preaches pitch to contact. If you go up there taking the opposite approach and make that pitcher work and not afraid to hit with 2 strikes or deep into a count, all these guys today, especially young guys, got pitch counts. You can knock them out early, and everybody's vulnerable in middle relief.
Inside, good at bat there by Schumacher. And a leadoff walk for St. Louis. Let's meet the Cardinals lineup tonight. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Schumacher, Duncan, and Pujols, followed by Ankiel, Gloss, and Kennedy. Last 3 games for Adam, he's 6 for 11. LaRue, Wellemeyer, and Isturis, our Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Brings in Duncan. I don't know about you, I was a little surprised. Well, not a little.
With Ludwig?
Yeah, a lot surprised not to see Ludwig's name in the lineup down in the clubhouse. Some of the guys were giving him trouble, but makes you wonder what you have to do. I guess you got to go 5 for 5. Instead of picking up 4 hits, you got to get 5 the game before to get in that lineup.
Well, he didn't win with his first 4-hit night and his 4th home run yesterday. But he had a great series, Ludwig did, against the Giants. He was 5 for 11 with 3 home runs and 5 RBIs, and he knows he'll be ready.
And I was even more surprised because of that aspect of it, what he did against the Giants, not so much of what he did yesterday. Yeah. The 2-0 pitch. Duncan out to deep right center field. Rowan on the move. He won't get it. Hops over the wall. Then the Giants will catch a break here. It's a ground rule double, so Schumacher has to stop at third base. Aaron Rowan had a famous play while playing with the Phillies in which he ran into the fence. The guy is fearless out there in center field. They really like him.
Well, they do, but you know, he also has already been banged up this year with ribs. But maybe Tony knew something. Look at Duncan go down and get that ball, centered it. 1 hops. There's your bad break. As Schumacher read that thing perfectly. He was off and running beyond second base before that ball got down. But he has to go back to third. But so what? 2 RBI opportunity for Albert, who broke up the no-hitter last weekend.
9-game hitting streak on the line tonight for Pujols. His on-base percentage is just outstanding. It's at .507. First pitches, you see what he's done. 12 swings, 18% of the time. Again, he takes a first pitch ball.
See, when he swings, he was 4 for 8 with 2 home runs on first pitches.
Like you said, I mean, with the video that's out there now and all the number crunching that is done, I'm sure some pitchers come into a game and they say, all right, let's just slip that first one by him. Let's try to groove it in there and get ahead and get that strike. And Albert, as Tony will tell you, is one of the best at making adjustments himself, even within the at-bat, but certainly as he goes along. That is Todd Wellemeyer under that towel. The 2-0 pitch. Ground ball right side. That'll score the run from third. Schumacher makes it 1-0. Pujols picks up the RBI, number 11. Giants defensively tonight. Fred Lewis is out left. Rowan is in center. Randy Wynn is in right. Brought to you by Auto Tire. Castillo, Bocock, Velez, Boker, and Molina. Matt Cain on the mound. Another aspect of this team, too, to me, partner, is the fact that the Cardinals are very unselfish. I mean, it's been a team that is willing to move runners over, bunt, take themselves out of hitting positions, whatever the case may be, but very unselfish.
And I think that's a byproduct also of coming together as a team. You know, the camaraderie, the competition that they have. It's a unique situation that there's so much competition, and yet the guys that are sitting on the bench that didn't get in the starting lineup are the biggest cheerleaders for the, like Ludwig's cheering for Schumacher today. That's where he'd be playing right field. Barton for Duncan.
Popped up. Shallow left. Who wants it? It'll be the shortstop, Bocock, and Duncan retreats back to third base. Similar pop-up that Prince Fielder picked up a base hit with yesterday to tie the game. That's a good play there by Bocock.
Very good play, and surprising that Freddie Lewis didn't take charge and let his young shortstop handle that one, because that's a very difficult play for shortstop going back.
Another question, too, is Duncan better off standing at third base? Because if it drops, he probably scores anyway.
Well, yeah, I think so. And, you know, and especially if you see that the shortstop's going to make that play running into the outfield. You know, but Oquendo, you know how aggressive he is, and he can verbally tell Duncan what he wants to do. So apparently Jose was pretty comfortable with it.
The 0-1 pitch. 1-1.
Watch Freddie Lewis go out there. He's not calling it. Then he looks up, but you see where he's pulling up. And he should have called off his young shortstop but as the infielder, you go back until you're called off. So Bocock did the right thing, and he's out there for his defense.
That's a strike on the outside corner, 1-2 on Troy Gloss.
But obviously a much easier play for the outfielder coming in than an infielder going out.
2 outs and runners in scoring position. 2 for 9, and he is 0 for his last 8 with runners in scoring position. Really struggling so far here in his first year in St. Louis. He's lost right now at the plate. Strikes out. Cardinals strand a runner, but they pick up the first run of this game. 1-0 St. Louis. One to nothing St. Louis here in the top of the second. And all season long, when the Cardinals score 6 or more runs, get a 20-ounce coffee, fountain, or frozen drink for only $0.25 all day. The next day at the Run at Mobile. There you go. Chilly night, 53 degrees, our game time temperature here in St. Louis. Wellemeyer struck out the side back in the first, and the fewest runs allowed first through third innings this season. The Cardinals at 6. That means you're not playing a lot of catch up.
Not only that, they also have allowed the fewest runs in the National League through 6 innings because of that good starting pitch.
Along with Pudge Rodriguez, Benji Molina, the last 5 seasons has averaged a .275 batting mark, 10 home runs, and 50 RBIs. Those are the only 2 catchers to do that. The 0-1 pitch. Fouled back. Yadier Molina is on the bench tonight and will start the day game tomorrow.
11 seasons. He's a career .275 hitter. There you see Yachty.
Molina in the cleanup spot, and he has already driven in 10.
These Giants are a much better team at night under lights, but they really struggle during the day.
The 1-2 pitch. In the air to right field. Backing up, Skip Schumacher. He makes the play. So good start here for Todd Wellemeyer. 4 up and 4 down. First baseman John Boker.
Boker is an outfielder, and he's getting his first start at first base. He's just playing a handful of games. Came up last weekend. Hit home runs in the first 2 games against the Cardinals in the big leagues. Had 7 RBIs. You know the last time somebody had 7 RBIs in the first 2 major league games?
Bring it to me.
Joe Cunningham.
Your buddy. The
Big
school program.
Smokey Joe.
Down the right field line. Schumacher on the move. And it is foul. Not by much. How about Boker? Needs to play the Cardinals all the time. A hit in each of his first 4 big league games. He went 4 for 6 against the Cardinals last weekend with 7 RBIs.
Came up Saturday and Sunday doing all that damage. He's an outfielder, and now they've got him playing first base. So JT Snow has worked with him a couple times last week when he got sent out of the big league camp. They had him working out at first base, but they've got to keep his bat in the lineup.
Orlando Cepeda was the first San Francisco Giant to hit a home run in his major league debut. Bonds did it as well. Will Clark. 1-2 the count. You thought the earthquake last night was your cat rummaging through your stuff on the walls. Wow. And I'm not talking about Jim Hayes.
Initially did. All the animals knew about what was going on before the humans did.
Popped up and out of play, and a souvenir.
Now, you don't have any hens, do you?
No, I don't.
But the farmers will tell you they didn't lay eggs yesterday or today.
You know, we found that out. Who was telling that to us before the game?
I'm telling you that.
No,
I used to be a rancher.
Good pitch in on his hands. And I'm glad to see that you and Jimmy the Cat Hayes have settled your differences. That's what Jim tells me.
Well, once again, he's wrong.
2-2 the count on Boker. 1-0 Cardinals. That's fouled out of play again. One thing that you know about Todd Wellemeyer too, he'll throw a changeup. That's something that Dave Duncan loves to see, because a changeup, if thrown properly, will get you ground balls. And so far, these Cardinal pitchers are pitching to contact. 2-2 pitch.
It also is a pitch that gets you off the fastball and heads his slider. You know, a lot of times, you know, they're two power pitches, so you need that changeup to change the differential. Fastball away.
Hit hard on the ground, and with time to make the play is Kennedy.
You want to see a changeup grip, you see the circle change. See the little circle with the thumb and first finger. And then he has the secondary fingers that are on the ball to just kind of help guide it. And you don't think throwing a baseball overhand puts torque on that elbow?
Remember Johnny Padres perfected that.
The circle change.
Yeah. Frank Viola had a great circle change.
Taught to him by Johnny Padres.
1-0 the count on Aaron Rowan. Mentioned that he is banged up. He's had a bad back. He's had a rib problem. He's got a sore groin. This was the big free agent to pick up for the Giants. Our Ford key matchup, and this is how to scout Aaron Rowan.
Well, he stays inside the ball because he sprayed around a lot, and he has good power to the opposite field. So you got to work both sides of the plate because he won't stay in one deal. And we talk about giant damage because in a weak offense, you don't let him beat you.
Kennedy to Pujols, 6 up and 6 down for Todd Wellemeyer. Kennedy, LaRue, Wellemeyer coming up in the Cardinals half of the second. Cardinals with a lead of 1-0. You're always doing the school programs. Is that from a school program earlier today? You're passing out the hungo?
No, but I was at Forder Elementary with Fred Bird today.
Very nice. There's Kennedy.
For the second quake. I was at that school and didn't even know it. Fred Bird told me. Like I said, all the animals know first.
Kennedy swinging a hot bat as of late. 1 ball, 1 strike. Goes the other way and slices out of play and foul. 1-2. Yesterday, a tough loss for the Cardinals, a game that they let slip away late. But you're going to have games like that over the course of 162.
Yeah, and I'm sure Tony didn't like losing that, but I don't think he thinks there's going to be lingering effects.
A swing and a miss by Kennedy. Strikeout number 2 for Kane. Coming up later tonight, the Best Damn Sports Show period. That'll follow the post-game show. U.S. Cellular, Cardinals Live. Chris Rose, John Sally, Rob Dibble, and Rodney Peete all coming up later tonight. The Best Damn Top 50 Spectacular Plays. Jason LaRue looking for his first hit. Cardinals felt that they had to upgrade the backup catcher position, in particular defensively. They feel they've done that with LaRue.
You know, most of the time when you're talking about a backup catcher, you're talking about a guy that can catch and throw.
In the air to center. Rowan makes the catch for out number 2.
And that's what Jason LaRue can do. He's a good handler of pitchers. He can throw very well. And he will get some hits.
Here's Wellemeyer with 2 outs and nobody on. 1-0 Cardinals. The RBI by Pujols and a ground out to second back in the first. First pitch to him was taken for a ball outside.
Yesterday also was one of those rare times when the Cardinals scored first and did not win.
It's one of those things, too, over the course of a season, you have those tight games, but you know, the difference between winning teams and teams that get into postseason play are the teams that win those kind of games more times than not.
Yes.
It was just a matter of time before Prince Fielder unloaded on one. I mean, this is a guy that had 50 home runs a year ago. It just happened to come at a real poor time.
Good to see Carpenter here. He'll be here for the rest of the homestand.
Kane goes 3-1 on Wellemeyer. Mark Mulder, his next start is scheduled for Sunday. Threw a bullpen yesterday. That scheduled start is in Springfield. From Palm Beach to Springfield, then to Memphis, and possibly here to St. Louis. Second walk in this game by Kane, and he walks the pitcher.
And Brendan Ryan had 4 hits last night for Springfield.
There's Cesar Torres. The Giants at night, you talked about how they pitch a lot better. Their ERA collectively 1.81 at night.
But they don't, you know, and they score a few more runs. They see the ball better, but they don't play well during the day.
Slap down the left field line and foul. And on the road, the Giants only 1 win so far. They're 1-5, 5-5 at AT&T Park, but only scoring in their 6 games 2 runs a game on average. The ERA is close to 6. Lefty up, and they're holding Todd Wellemeyer on. Doesn't matter now. Kane will step and throw. And we play 2. Castillo, Bocock, and Kane coming up. This Day in Baseball History brought to you by Schnucks. Barry Bonds a year ago. For Ryan Franklin, really one of the only mistakes that he would make for about 4 months. And he was that good for the Cardinals, but Bonds would hit that home run.
Split finger that didn't split. Sat right there for him.
Fred Lewis has taken over in left field for Bonds. Bonds was 43 last year, and he was on base 48% of the time. He was still very, very productive.
Walked him a lot, and you know, if you pitch to him, he could beat you with the bat and the long ball.
I don't think baseball misses him one bit, though. Maybe fans in San Francisco, that was the one place where, you know, they treated him differently than the rest of the country. Jose Castillo, the former Pirate. Castillo is hitting .241.
Started each of the 16 games, now 17 for the Giants.
Two balls and no strikes. Castillo, Bocock, and Kane. 1-0 St. Louis.
This way you just absolutely have to dominate the latter 3 in the lineup. You respect them, but you just go right after them. 3-0.
7, 8, 9 in this lineup.
Little things like that you really got to concentrate. You got an easy inning here.
And he walked him. So the first base run of the night for the Giants. Sunday night, get a look around the major leagues. It's the Baseball Report covering every team all season long. Highlights, interviews, analysis you won't get anywhere else. It's the Baseball Report, Sunday at 10, right here on FSN Midwest. Leadoff walk to Castillo, and it brings in Brian Bocock, the shortstop. They're hoping to get Vizquel back sometime very, very soon, because Omar is one of the best that's ever played the position.
Absolutely. But this young man, and he had never played above A ball.
Sacrifice here. Gloss, bare hands, and makes the play.
Trying to bunt for a base hit. Gloss can come in there, and Albert does a nice job. As you can watch how Albert will see how the ball is going to come to foul territory. So he just kind of, makes his shift over there in foul territory and catches it.
It's amazing how the shift of the fans is now focused on a team that they expect to win instead of maybe being a rebuilding team. A couple weeks ago, opening day, and that's a good look at the play by Gloss. I think fans understood no Edmonds, no Roland, no Carpenter, no Mulder. Might be a different year for this franchise. But then they get off to this great start. They're 11-5, and instead of being rebuilding, I think people are saying, hey, let's set the bar a little higher with these expectations. This team has got a chance to win.
Well, and of course the team has gone out there and made people revise their decisions, and they've gone out there and said, hey, we are a much better club. So the fans are starting to buy into it. And you think when you get Carpenter back and Mulder back, hopefully Clement at some point, that, it'll get even better as the season goes along. Just tread waters, stay in the vicinity, and then get those guys back, and you got a real shot.
The 1-1 pitch. I think the coaching staff coming out of spring training gets a lot of that credit, along with Tony La Russa, to get this team ready to play, and they were ready from the first pitch.
Well, I think the one thing is Tony's teams are always well prepared, but his motto of play a hard 9. His club worked very hard in spring training.
Tim Flannery is the third base coach. Good friend of Bruce Bochy.
A friend of mine, too.
And of Al Rabosky.
I never went surfing with him, but, we did a little socializing.
Slowly hit. LaRue will go to first. Runner advances to third. With 2 outs now. And we're back to the top of the lineup. Fred Lewis. Cubs win today. Chicago defeats Pittsburgh 3-2. Kerry Wood picked up the save. He now has 4. He had a little hiccup at the beginning of the season, but now with 4 saves. Nate McLouth, a home run for the Pirates. He's off to a great start, but the lefties are really struggling for the Chicago Cubs. Hill and Lilly, and that's got to be concerned right now for Lou Piniella. Loss, third baseman, is in a couple of steps over at third. And a swing and a miss. A little late again is Lewis.
And Freddie Lewis had a very good homestand. A lot of that damage was against the St. Louis Cardinals. This guy has a lot of extra base hits in him. Kind of swinging him around to the opposite way. And boy, if he pulls something down the right field line with his speed, look out.
Nothing in 2, the count on Lewis. Cardinals lead it 1-0 here in the third. Signals here from LaRue.
Fastball in.
The 0-2 pitch.
Fastball away.
I think they're seeing, though, that he's not catching up with some of these fastballs.
Right.
Been a little tied up.
Also saw where Jason LaRue was making sure that he was not peaking. He would really delay in putting down that signal until he saw that Freddie Lewis wasn't peaking. There's a changeup, wants it down, preferably away. And things right there is that changeup a little too hard at 86 miles an hour. Ideally, you'd almost like 11 miles an hour variance between your fastball and change. Sinker.
Almost threw it to the backstop, and it's 2-2. Sometimes when you watch Wellemeyer, you wonder if he knows where it's going.
And sometimes he doesn't.
Yep.
You hear the phrase repeatable delivery, and that kind of helps you have the control. But he's getting out of that thrower mentality and become a pitcher. Another sinker.
2-2. Tony La Russa when describing Todd Wellemeyer, he says intriguing.
He is, you know, because he's so big and strong, throws hard. One of the things that Dave Duncan, when he first came up with the Cubs, you know, he could get up there 95, 97 miles an hour. They've tried to get him to back down a little bit and have better command of his pitches. And sometimes, you know, when you don't overthrow it too, you have more life and movement.
2-2 pitch. From 0-2 to a full count.
And the thing is, Dan, you know, what's troublesome is he can't locate his fastball.
The pitch that he should be able to locate.
The pitch that he should be able to locate is the fastball. See another one here trying to do it.
Wellemeyer off of him. This will be a base hit, and this game is tied as Lewis picks up his second RBI. A 2-out RBI and a base hit, and it's 1-1.
Got the desired ground ball, but his momentum and his delivery carries him all the way around to where his back was facing home plate. Delow delivers the ball, and you see him kind of turn right there and hits him in the backside. And once that ball had separation with his body and glove, there's no way with Lewis's speed that that was not going to be an RBI single.
Russ Springer threw a bullpen yesterday. Plans on throwing in a simulated game situation tomorrow. The Cardinals have to make a decision on him. See what they want to do possibly on Sunday. Lewis was leaning, and
I think he's eligible to come off the disabled list on Sunday. And he pretty much said, hey, you know, if you want me going to rehab, or if you want me just to, you know, you make the call and I'll agree with it. But for a guy like Russ Springer, it's not necessary for him to go down to the minor leagues and make a you know, rehab appearance.
And he's a guy that will be completely honest with the club, and he'll say,
Correct.
look, I need to face some live hitters and take care of things. There's Oquendo talking with Molina, and let's see if San Francisco, with Molina on the bench tonight, they want to be aggressive here in this situation.
They have National League lead in steals,
17.
so that's one of the things that they've got to do. But LaRue can throw, so if the pitcher gives him a chance. Wellemeyer is not that quick to the plate, so you can steal off of him.
Velez struck out looking as Wellemeyer struck out the side back in the first. 1-1 as we play here with 2 outs in the top of the third. So it's not just the pitcher that holds a baseball in that dugout, it's also a catcher, Yadier Molina. There he goes, throw down to second, safe.
Rue made a very strong throw, and in his mind he thought he probably got Freddie Lewis, but more importantly, it's Brian Gorman out there at second says no. Exmo there, and you see he does get in there safely ahead of the tag. Not much expression from Molina.
The 0-2 pitch. Grounder to Kennedy. Bobbles it, stays with it, and makes the play. Second one that he has bobbled tonight. Giants tie it up. Lewis, the 2-out RBI base hit. Well, you can pledge your allegiance to the Cardinals with a membership in Cardinals Nation. It's the official online fan club of the St. Louis Cardinals. Members receive great perks, including free game day audio, access to special ticket offers, discounts at the ballpark, and more. Join Cardinals Nation today at stlcardinals.com. There was Hungo trying to help out, and obviously not making it.
Another earthquake. Notice I didn't have a rake in my hand. I was the supervisor.
Sparking out the instructions. Schumacher now has been on base twice with a walk and a single, run scored. It brings in Chris Duncan, who doubled his first time up. We've got the Hungo Award coming up later tonight. How about some candidates? Who do you like? Have you thought about it?
Oh, can you have a straight face and ask me that question?
Yeah, because I've seen the truck say, oh.
How about Ludwig? How about Loesch?
Let me finish. We do our hit after the game on a Friday night. And all of a sudden the truck realizes it's a Hungo Award and they're upset. And then you realize it's a Hungo Award and you don't know who to pick. And then you turn to me and I say, we're going to give it to either Ludwig or.
Oh, I assume that's how you got one.
I did receive one of those. Yeah, that's true. That is true.
You got the very first one.
I did.
It was your idea.
I'm the one to blame.
Yeah, I was going to say.
How many people, I'm serious about this question, how many people come up to you over at your place and they say, Al, love watching you. Yeah, Matt Hungarian, love it. Can I get a Hungo?
Yes. I get that a lot.
I'm serious.
Yeah. How do I get one?
Is there a way to order the Hungo? I'm thinking of a money-making scheme right here.
I say call David Precorni.
One ball and 2 strikes. I even get it. Hey, Dan, do you see Al? Well, yeah, I see him for about 6 months out of the year every night. Can I get a Hungo? Talk to Al.
Yeah.
2-2. You were kind enough, though, to sign my Hungo.
You were
proudly displayed in our living room.
Oh, just kind of like that gift that I think Cornbread gave you.
My beautiful lamp.
Yeah.
2-2. Outfield is deep for Duncan. Room in the left center field.
Chris is starting to come around a little bit.
When you think about it, this is really the first time in about a half a year where he's been healthy enough to play in major league competition. He was playing with that hernia, had a back problem, knee issue.
Hamstring.
Yeah, the hamstring.
Last homestand. Subject to just pinch hitting. So he's really kind of finishing up spring training right now. Got the average at around 3 1/4.
We're talking with some of the Giants personnel. They feel this could be a year for them at 6-10 already, that you may see guys that are even at single A ball, double A, whatever the case may be, jump to the major leagues just to get a taste of it and to see what they have in that player, because they realize they're in a tough spot. They've got good pitching, but outside of that, it could be a long, long year.
Well, and it's kind of a situation for Bochy, too. He's got some veterans, and if they maintain and have good attitudes, they maybe make it through the season, or some of them are free agents to be next year. They might become attractive to a contender down the stretch, but if they don't have a good attitude, they'll be gone quick.
In the dirt to Duncan, and another 3-2 pitch coming up, and it's already 42 pitches. We're only in the third for Kane.
He got quiet all of a sudden.
3-2 is drilled out to deep right field. Track, wall, gone! Just over the wall. A 2-run homer for Duncan. His second of the year, and the Cardinals back on top. It's 3-1.
Well, Chris had 3 hits on Saturday. He was a triple shy of the cycle, and they had the game-winning RBI with 2 outs in the 10th. That was a game started by Kane, but right now Kane has different stuff. Really slowed down on the off-speed pitch, a breaking ball, but left it in the wheelhouse, kind of like what happened with Thompson and Fielder in yesterday's ball game, and Duncan didn't miss it. Line drive. Line drive home run, his second of the year.
Here's Albert. Reaches for it. A ground ball hit to short. The first out. So the first two guys in this lineup for the Cardinals have produced this evening. On base 4 times. And Duncan second of the season.
Kind of slowed up, little breaking ball, and ends up coming down and in. And there you see, catch a lot of plate where he can get that arm extension. Wasn't fooled by the pitch and just hit a vicious line drive that just snuck over the wall.
After the Giants tie it up, the Cardinals pick up 2. Right back at them.
That's how you do it. You know, you just take the lead, and then if they catch up, just put the pressure on them.
Inside on Ankiel. 2 balls and no strikes. But 17 pitch at bat the other night was the longest at bat as far as pitches seen in 20 years for the Cardinals. Grounder hit 2 short. Bocock is there. 2 away. Coming up after the game, stay with us. The post-game show, U.S. Cellular, Cardinals Live with Pat Paris and Ricky Horton. Here from Brent Stover and Jim Hayes. Cardinals have played very well here at home. 11-5 overall, and they're in the midst of 14 of 18 here at home. And the Cardinals will see Milwaukee and Pittsburgh the next road trip, but it's an odd road trip. Only 2-game series, both places.
Both places. Out of April home dates for the Cardinals, which is good if you win the majority of them. And they've only lost twice at home. They had won 7 straight games before losing the game yesterday.
Troy Gloss hit into a couple of double plays the ball game yesterday. Falls behind now 0-2, and he was double switched for the first time in his career. First time ever in his career.
And you also saw what he did with that little extra time as he
went to the batting cage.
Got the batting cage, got Mike Aldretti, the assistant hitting coach, to throw to him in the cage, trying to figure it out. There, it helps.
Line drive out to left. Catch made by Fred Lewis.
Just hit the ball hard.
Yep. Another look at the Duncan home run, his second on the year. Just over the wall and right. 3-1 St. Louis after 3 here at Busch Stadium. Beautiful shot there, guys. Top of the 4th, here's Randy Wynn, 3-1 St. Louis, and the first pitch, a strike. Randy Wynn, right fielder for San Francisco. Some age concerns with this everyday lineup of the Giants. Durham is 36, Aurelia 36, Molina is 33. Dave Roberts out with knee surgery. This portion of Cardinal Baseball on FSM Midwest is brought to you by Kia Motors, Kia, the power to surprise. And by Aflac. Aflac, ask about it at work. That is Engine House number 2. St. Louis Fire Department, the corner of Tucker and Spruce. Can't thank all the men and women. Firehouses across the city. And St. Louis's finest as well for what they do. Benji Molina. Fly to right first time up. Ground ball up the middle. Base hit. One thing that runs in the family with the Molinas is their speed.
Yes, or lack of.
Lack thereof is right.
Benji's 11 years in the big leagues now, and one of their better candidates to be their cleanup hitter. And the first time you think about it, you go, wait a minute. But, you know, he had big offensive numbers last year.
There's Boker, the first baseman, who was grounded out to second. Talked with Yadier about his brothers and being all major leaguer. I said, how did that happen? He said, one thing, my dad. My dad was a great player and taught us the game properly.
They all have that feel for and instincts for the game.
Broken bat. Bowker lifts it to right, and the catch is made by Skip Schumacher. Want to win the ticket game? Go to StubHub.com. It's fast and easy. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the St. Louis Cardinals. It brings in Aaron Rowan. Grounded out to second his first time up. Chris Duncan, by the way, now has 46 career home runs and 700 ABs. Majority of those, though, have been on the road.
Let's just hope Chris can have a solid season with no injuries and see what he could do over the course of the full season. He's had back-to-back 20 home run seasons, but he's really had 2 years ago it was the second half. Last year it was the first half.
1-0 pitch. Rowan gets a piece. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Sam Holbrook got the brunt of that foul ball off the mask.
Rewatching in 1989 and then World Series Game 3, the earthquake.
I was. You know, I was happened to be in Palm Beach, and caught sort of the tail end of it.
Popped up and out of play.
Remember, Jack Buck was doing the World Series then on CBS radio, and
Al Michaels on ABC.
And well, but I mean, it's going to say that Jack was there at the stadium, and Carol, his lovely bride, was coming later, and they got separated. And by the time Carol got back to the hotel, Jack was fast asleep.
Wasn't too worried, I guess, huh? Hard hit into center. And that gets over Rick Ankiel. Molina on his way to third, and he's got to stop right there. That gives you an indication of his speed like we talked about.
He was flat out going too, wasn't he?
He was.
Piano and all. But
I'm not sure Ankiel can make this catch, but that really was,
yeah.
That was really one of the first times all season we've seen him take a bad track on a fly ball.
And I agree with you, but watch Benji. Look at that speed. Look at that speed. He is much slower than Yair. But Rick kind of came in a little bit and came across, and then he went back. But I agree with you. I'm not too sure he would have caught it. And really, no harm, no foul. And with 2 outs now, let's see if Wellemeyer can't pitch around that.
So a double by Rowan, and here is Castillo. Swinging wildly, and it looked like Wellemeyer missed location, but got away with it.
Just bad enough that it was effective.
So you're saying Yachty is like the Carl Lewis
of
the brothers. The brothers Molina.
We call them the Flying Molina brothers.
All kinds of room into left center field. Ball scoots away from LaRue. Was not a foul tip, and that's strike 2.
Think he can swing any harder? Looks like he's just pulling his head off, just swinging for the fences. First one was out of the strike zone up. That one looked like it was a good slider down and away. Uppercutting, pulling off it.
Saw the shot of Molina talking with Troy Gloss. Those two were teammates in Anaheim. Nothing in 2 the count. 7th place hitter in this lineup, Jose Castillo. Walked and scored first time up.
Good pitch right there, 0-2.
You can see they're trying to get Castillo out on anything outside. Did that in his first plate appearance as well.
Defensively playing in that way, and right and center.
Barry Weinberg on the phone.
Ordering food.
The 1-2 pitch. It's not where you normally see the trainer on the bullpen phone in the dugout.
He's on the takeout order for him. There might be a celebrity in the stands that he hasn't met.
1-2 the count. Popped up right side. Schumacher near the line, foul territory, makes the catch. Fire engine house number 2. Another look. Look at that shot. Well, the Cardinals on FSM Midwest are brought to you by Southwest Airlines. AB calendar night here at the ballpark. Good looking calendar with the players and the schedules. Broadcast schedules in there as well. Good folks at Anheuser-Busch. We're back at Busch Stadium. It's 3-1 St. Louis. Adam Kennedy, Jason LaRue, and Todd Wellemeyer for the Cardinals. Redbirds lead it 3-1. Pujols with an RBI. Ground ball back in the first to score Schumacher. And a 2-run homer by Duncan last inning. Kennedy struck out his first time up near Jose Oquendo, and that's strike 2.
I just saw on the board that Ryan Klesko
Retired.
He's retired after 16 seasons. Last team he was with was right here, the Giants.
One of his best friends is the manager of San Francisco, Bruce Bochy. Those two were together for a number of years in San Diego.
And Atlanta is where he started, came up.
He's a good player.
Yeah. Interesting character.
And a swing and a miss by Kennedy, and he strikes out against Kane. And that's strikeout number 3 on the night. Brings in LaRue. He flied out to center.
You ready for Jason's first hit of 08?
Right here.
Right here.
Tomorrow, early pregame show will come your way at 11 in the morning. Our first pitch at 12:10 here at the ballpark for game 2.
Told you.
All right, Al.
Could be a Hungo winner.
About to say, there you go. May have your winner right there on one swing.
Scares me with that Fu Manchu, though.
I think you would give him the award just because of the facial hair.
Nice piece of there, centering the ball. Remember, about 4 or 5 years he was this everyday catcher for Cincinnati. Like to get him back to those offensive days.
Wellemeyer will square to bunt. You know, we were talking about the World Series in 1989, and for Tony La Russa, they had a 10-day layoff, so then he could go right back with his best 2. It was Dave Stewart and Mike Moore, and those 2 won the 4 games. They swept the Giants. Great Oakland team. They were loaded. 1 out and a runner at first. Offered at it and a strike. The 0-1 pitch on the outside corner. That is scary.
Scary. Yeah, see, I did have black hair at one time. Look at those eyes, both of them.
Have you advised Jason on his Fu Manchu at all?
I tell you, I can't get close to him. It scares me.
And not a very good effort there by Wellemeyer. He strikes out. Strikeout number 4, second in the inning. One of the guys in our crew was asking which one was the Hungo.
That ex-crewmate?
Oh, you're going to get him fired, huh?
No, I would never get anybody fired other than Jim Hayes.
Why are you so rough on the cat? What did he do?
Nothing. But you know, he's so innocent. He said nothing.
2 outs. Hungo over at first. Here's Isturis.
You want to know how it started? Brent Stover said you got to give me some some mentions. So it's at the cat's expense.
So it's Stover then.
Yeah.
1-0 pitch. Get out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
This tour is switch hitting. Just under 300 from the right side, but around 140 batting left-handed.
The 1-1 pitch is Turris down the right field line, and that's fair. LaRue on his way to second, off the sidewall. They will stop him at third. It's a double for Turris. I think we saw which catcher's a little bit faster on the base paths there.
Kendo waiting for the very last second before he holds up Jason LaRue. Ball goes right off the chalk line. You see Jason picking him up, laying him down, hustling all the way. He was going so fast he had to drop to his knees to kind of slow down his forward progress and get back to the bag.
There's Schumacher, who has been on base twice with a single, a walk his first time, and scored back in the first.
He scored both times, and you know, remember last Friday night in San Francisco, he had a tremendous game as a leadoff hitter.
Look at the average, up to 320.
Yeah, it started out 0 for 16, but Skip, you know, had a career high 4 runs last Friday in San Francisco.
Now he can be selective. 2 balls and no strikes.
Remember, he was on base 5 times. It seemed like, memory served me, it was 2 hits and 3 errors.
And if you look, if you're Matt Cain, you know you've got a nemesis on deck, so he's going to get something to hit.
There
Base hit, out to left, 1 run in. It's Turris being waved home. Schumacher delivers with 2 outs. 2 RBIs, and it's 5-1 Cardinals.
Two out base hits. Boy, they just kill the pitcher. Dave Righetti will come out here. And then when a guy will slice the ball like that, had his hands inside the ball and slice it to the opposite field, that's a nice piece of hitting.
Rags, Dave Righetti, who was the first major league pitcher at one point to pitch a no-hitter and also lead the league in saves in his career. Later, Dennis Eckersley was able to do that.
Yep.
Former Rookie of the Year back in 1981, Dave Righetti. And Matt Cain in our Volkswagen pitch count at 66. And how about this? The Cardinals here in game 1 against a tough right-hander already have put up 5 runs, not even through 4.
Well, that's what you got to do. You got to go out there and punish him. He's not, you know, the consistency. He's only 23, and he's going to be a good one, and he can be really tough, like they saw last Saturday where he had the no-hitter through 6 innings.
Duncan is homer tonight. First pitch to him.
But like a lot of young pitchers, you got to learn how to win when you don't have your best stuff.
12 of 21 now. First pitch strikes for Matt Cain this evening. 5-1 Cardinals. Redbirds with a run in the first, 2 in the third, and 2 more in this inning. We talk about the importance of first pitch strikes.
And also, Dan, and for a young pitcher like with this current Giants team, you really got to fight yourself when you get down, that you don't surrender because you know your team is offensively challenged.
The 2-0. 3-0, and Pujols on deck.
See, that's where, you know, all of a sudden you can't, what you can't control, you can't worry about. You can only control Cardinals offense and his numbers.
Here's a spot where you have 3-0 on Duncan. He's had good success with a double and a home run, but you have Pujols on deck. Do you give him that green light?
Well, what you do is you know, you just say, okay, you be selective enough that if you look for a certain pitch and it's right in your wheelhouse, then you have the green light to go after it. If it's not there, take it, even if it's a strike.
3-2.
Just taken 2 strikes, but both of those were off-speed pitches where he's got probably initially was looking for the fastball, something he can really drive and, you know, in the zone where he could do some damage. Now he's got to protect the plate.
And that is ball 4. So a walk. Number 3 tonight for Kane, and he is asking for trouble here as Pujols will dig in with 2 outs and 2 runners on.
Especially because Albert got a ground ball to the right side, got an RBI the first time up. Second time he got himself out, rolling over on an outside pitch, hitting a little ground ball to short. Usually when Albert does that, he will make some kind of adjustment.
For the most part, they are straight away. Center fielder Aaron Rowan shading Pujols a little bit, slightly, to pull. And they are deep.
And maybe not deep enough.
The 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pujols with the RBI back in the first. Number 11 trying to extend his hit streak tonight to 10. First pitch strikes 13 of 22, and that's brought to you by Mazda for Matt Cain of San Francisco. And Keel on deck. The 1-1 pitch. Not sure Pujols liked the first strike call, and he doesn't like that one either. 1-2.
He's too good a hitter. That to be hitting with 2 strikes shouldn't bother him.
Check swing. Did he go? Just held up. 2-2. Lou Brock was saying the other night, when this man steps to the plate, I stop what I'm doing. He's one of the guys I will stop and just watch what I'm doing. Watch what he's doing. 2-2 pitch. Albert way out of here. Deep left field. Big Mac land. Goodness gracious. 3-run homer. 8-1 St. Louis.
I said it, they weren't deep enough. But knew that Albert, they kept on going away, tantalizing him out there. And that ball was on the inner part of the plate, and he just turned on it and launched it. 4 RBIs on the night now. Takes over the lead in RBIs with his 14. Ludwig and Keel have 11.
Didn't like the first 2 strikes on him, but he picks up his 4th home run of the season.
How many times, Dan, have you seen a lesser hitter allow a strike or 2 that they don't like to ruin their at-bat? And you could see the glove of Molina come back over towards the middle of the plate, and Albert didn't miss it.
And Keel, a base hit, left center field. All the way to the wall. He's on his way to second. A double for Keel. They've got a lefty warming up in the bullpen for San Francisco, and the hits are piling up.
Dietz.
8 on the night.
Dietz is a lefty warming up. But let's go back to Albert Pujols, and you can just see just to the left of Big Mac land, and almost about a third of the way up there. That is a nice blast, and that got a rise out of this crowd. Tell you what, the Cardinals players are doing their share to have the best promotion for ticket sales, and that's playing winning baseball. Bruce Bochy, see if he's not doing a double switch. Does it look like he's going to bring in Eric Dietz?
Let's take a look at the Aflac trivia question. Name the only 4 players in Major League history with 500 home runs and 3,000 hits. Only 4 to have done this. Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Rafael Palmeiro, and the great switch hitter Eddie Murray. 504. Palmeiro will be an interesting case once he's up for the Hall of Fame.
Can't win. Can't be put in. She's been linked to steroids if you go ahead with the McGuire factor.
Well, how about Matt Cain? 3 2/3. That's it. Lefty is in. It's Threets. Saw him in the series out west. 8-1 St. Louis.
Hard thrower. It's from the Bay Area. And, you know, he throws hard, but really doesn't know where it's going at times, so it's all depends. Davis stays in the game as part of the double switch, plays center field.
Pujols blast measured at 424 feet. Duncan at 372. Two balls and no strikes and Glaus. Cardinals have picked up 5 runs in this inning. 3-0.
Heats is only 26 years of age and 7th round selection in 2000 first year player draft.
And he walks Troy Glaus on 4 straight pitches. It's going to be some long nights for Bruce Bochy. Glaus was the 9th man to come to the plate in this inning. Cardinals alone in this inning with 2 walks, 5 base hits. Top of the lineup, Schumacher, Duncan, and Pujols. They have really done some damage. Schumacher and Duncan have been on base 6 times already.
Kennedy, a pair of strikeouts today. He was talking about, he talked to Jim Edmonds, the marathon game they had in San Diego. Jimmy's off day was 0 for 5.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
With San Diego and Colorado, if you missed it, 22 innings and the longest game since 1993. There's our in-game box score for the Cardinals, and the top 3 have done the damage tonight. Kip Wells, by the way, picked up the win in that game between San Diego and the Rockies.
And then Tulowitzki had kind of like a Fernando Vina night. Remember Fernando, that one game we had in Florida? It was like 0 for 8, 0 for 9, and then got the game-winning hit. Tulowitzki had a similar night and got the game winner.
Reaching for it, right center. This could be trouble, and it is. It's now 9-1. They'll hold up Glaus over at third. And Kennedy picks up the double. He had a tough night with 2 strikeouts prior to that double. Picks up his 5th RBI.
Now defensively, they had him played to the opposite field. And look, he's just kind of all one-handed, just going out there trying to make contact, but plug the gap out in right center, comes up with the RBI double.
Cain's 3 2/3, his shortest outing of 2008. He's only had 2 shorter outings in his career. 3 innings in May of 2007, 2 2/3 in September of 07.
Oh.
Look at Molina, fired right back at him.
Well, you know, twice he kind of misses location trying to pitch out. Now he almost throws it over Molina's head. The one thing about Molina, I was told, and I saw in the series out there, he has trouble with the ball that's up. He has trouble catching it, you know, when he's down.
What's the reasoning?
I don't know, you know, but you know, it was pointed out to me by Kruko, and I kind of watched for it, and it was absolutely true.
It's kind of part of the job, isn't it?
Yeah.
Low, away,
It's
inside,
like, you know,
anywhere.
11-year veteran, you kind of stunned me.
Bases are loaded for Todd Wellemeyer. We're only in the fourth, and it's 9-1 Cardinals. Right down the middle, that's a strike. Why does that happen? When a guy is trying to just play catch, essentially pitching out, and then asked to, you know, throw a strike in a competitive situation, now he's able to find the zone.
And I saw a game decided. It was 0-0, and a pitcher tried to throw a pitch out and threw a runner at third and threw the ball on the screen. Lost 1-0.
0-2 pitch. Wellemeyer into right. Should be caught, and it is. Cardinals will strand the bases loaded. But the Redbirds, a huge fourth inning. They pick up 6 runs, highlighted with a 3-run homer from Albert Pujols. Oh, yeah, you got to love it. Pujols, a deep one. 9-1 Cardinals. 9-1 Cardinals on 9 hits as we move to the top of the 5th here in St. Louis. Let's go pitch by pitch. A little different one tonight, brought to you by Chevrolet.
Yeah, this is a pitch out. Now watch where you almost a strike. You're setting up, looking chest high away, and even worse. Now he starts to understand, okay, out there, but not over my head. And then the final one, a little bit, he zeroed it down. He got better as it went along, but a little interesting. Something that's so mundane and boring, he made it very exciting.
Well, through 4 innings, Wellemeyer has 3 strikeouts, all coming in the first. This coming after striking out no more than 5 in his 11 starts in 2007. Now he has recorded 6, 7, and 7 in his 3 starts this far this year. The strikeouts are on the rise for Todd Wellemeyer. Guy that throws hard, real hard. It's slider.
That's a slider that had a lot of the Giants talking about. After a long inning like that, it was important to take those good 8 warm-up tosses and get reacclimated.
2-2 the count. Long way to go for Schumacher, and he runs out of room. We talked about it at the top of the lineup for the Cardinals. Difference maker tonight: Schumacher, Duncan, and Pujols. And with that home run by Albert, he's now extended his hitting streak to 10.
And of course, you didn't want Duncan to be in the lineup tonight.
Now I was thinking Moran Keel. That was definitely Duncan. Definitely Duncan, yeah.
So Ludwig was going to play center tonight.
Right.
Yeah, he can't play center and right.
Correct. I won't say right again, so you can fully understand what I'm talking about.
Right.
No center. 2-2 pitch.
Who's on first?
That's right. Now the matchups on paper, you take a look at who the Cardinals will face. Now you're looking at Matt Cain tonight. You thought this would be a tough one. Obviously, it's turned into a big lead for the Cardinals. Still a long way to go. There's a leadoff walk, but Lincecum tomorrow, then Jonathan Sanchez on Sunday. Albert Pujols with a monster home run, his 4th on the year, and now he has 14 RBIs.
You can see, though, just how strong he is, because he didn't get the full extension. Look how his hands are pulled in towards the body. You know, the elbows are not extended all the way out, but look at the eyes and then that tremendous follow through, their strong wrist and forearms to drill that to the third deck.
Out of play and foul. This is Davis, part of that double switch. Where will his numbers be before it's all said and done if he can stay healthy? Scary. Kennedy, nice play. Oh, yeah, there's the double play. He has looked tremendous going to his right, especially here at home. He's had 3 great plays.
Davis lines this one here, comes up here, Pocock running on the play, and he's trapped off. He thought and assumed that it was going to get by Kennedy.
2 outs, and now top of the lineup in Fred Lewis.
He was thinking he was going to go from first to third, and he did. He went to the third base dugout.
And that was that. Lewis is 1 for 2. RBI, a stolen base. It was back in the 3rd inning. 9-1 St. Louis with 2 outs here in the 5th. Everything clicking after a real tough loss yesterday for the Cardinals, and they have responded here in game 1 of this series. Strikeout. Lewis doesn't like the call. The outside corner shaking his head as he heads into the dugout. All St. Louis tonight. What's on tap is brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light keeps it coming. Cardinals and the Giants in game 2 of the series tomorrow. Come your way with the pregame show at 11. Joel Pinheiro and Tim Lincecum. Cardinals would love to see something positive from Pinheiro after really a rough first start over the weekend against San Francisco. Brad Thompson then was moved to the bullpen. One-0 pitch to Cesar Izturis. 2-0 Izturis with a double tonight and a run scored back in that big 4th inning. The Cardinals with 9 hits tonight. In the bottom of the 4th, they picked up 6 runs.
Man, Sheets, it's like he's trying to close out a shutout against Cincinnati. Milwaukee has a 5-0 lead with the Reds batting in the bottom of the 9th. He would move to 3-0.
The 3-0 pitch inside on Izturis, so he's on base. It's one thing he's been able to do, despite the fact that he's hitting just over 200. He has drawn some walks.
It's his 9th walk. Much higher on base percentage than his career, and if he can catch everything that he's supposed to and contribute to a higher on base percentage, then you've got something.
Firestone in-game box score. Let's take a look at it. That pitch at 93 miles an hour. Schumacher, you'll see, he's had a big night. Walked and scored, singled and scored. RBI single in the 4th and scored on the Pujols home run.
Average right now is what he hit last year here in the big leagues.
333 after such a terrible start. He said to me that it came down to the fact that he was just pressing, and it wasn't mechanical flaw at the plate. He said just between the ears, I was pressing so much to make an impression that it was a mental thing more so than a physical thing.
Most definitely, and I think what part of that rectified it was when he started admitting it.
A 2-1 pitch picked by Molina. 3-1. No activity in the San Francisco bullpen.
It's great to have a great power arm, but when you can't throw strikes and you can't expect good defense behind you.
We saw the deal for Evan Longoria of Tampa Bay just came up, and he signs a 6-year, $17.5 million contract. They're trying to lock him up. Obviously, they have with that, but
he's in the minor leagues.
He just came up. Line drive out there, and a double play. The pick over at first.
Not good base running there by Torres, and nice pick, as you said, by the young first baseman starting his first game at the big league level at first base.
But think about that. I mean, he was just called up, and they feel, that confident in giving him a 6-year deal, $17.5 million.
Well, they knew that he was maybe their best player, and he didn't make the team. But I guess they made up for it, right?
But it could wind up being a 9-year deal that would pay him $44.5 million. There's all those different options in the contract. It's the largest deal for a player that does not have a year of major league service. The other one that was bigger was Daisuke Matsuzaka. He got $52 million from Boston.
But he had a track record
there,
playing in Japan all the years and being a winner. And what they did is they paid him #1 starter money, because remember they had to pay $50 million to get the rights to negotiate.
It was a $100 million investment, over $100 million. 2-1 on Duncan. Duncan tonight with a double, home run, and a walk. 2 runs scored.
Not a very good ball to strikeout ratio for this pitcher.
It's a good opportunity for Duncan, though, to face a hard-throwing lefty.
Not exactly the way you teach pitching to contact. He's thrown 29 pitches. 18 of them are balls.
It's out of play. Back in the third, Duncan picked up his second home run going yard, just over the wall and right. Really a line drive home run.
Breaking ball, and you see him just go out there. Really, I think he wasn't trying to hit a home run. He was trying to really make contact. But he's so big and strong. Ball got in his wheelhouse. And that's when you hit home runs, when you're not trying. Hal McRae was trying to emphasize that to Troy Glass the other day at the batting cage.
The 3-2 pitch. Duncan swings and misses and strikes out. 9-1 St. Louis. This year, when you can't be home to watch the Cardinals on FSM Midwest, check out MLB.tv, and you can go online to watch every out-of-market Cardinals game of the season live. For details, visit STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on. Nice crowd on this Friday night. Cardinals leading 9-1 over San Francisco. This is the Les. Start play here in the 6th. Shallow left field. Duncan puts it away for the first out.
That'll help out Wellemeyer in his pitch count. 81. Pitching here in the 6th.
Starters have been terrific for the Cardinals during this very good beginning of this 2008 season. Cardinals are 11-5, and 9 of the wins have come from the starting staff. We're talking about Skip Schumacher, and Randy Wynn is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fly out to left. First 7 games, he was 0 for 16. Since then, he's now hitting .472 with hits in 9 of the 10 games. Check swing, strike. 0-2.
And you're talking about how good the starting pitching has been. Including tonight, St. Louis has allowed just 28 runs in the first 6 innings so far this season, the fewest in all of baseball. Starting pitching sets the tone, and then the Cardinal offense has been getting the early lead. They're 10-2 in games that they score first. Hold on and win this one, be 11-2.
2-2. Molina on deck.
Todd said he's big and strong. You could see him go well past 100 pitches if he needed to. Allowed 3 hits. He's walked 2. Struck out 4.
But again, Al, he goes so deep into counts. And tonight is another example of that. Another 3-2 pitch.
Oh, the 2 walks he's had, both of them led off innings. And, that's a bugaboo. Got away with it last inning, but the only run they scored was that runner reached base on a walk.
Left center, and Keel on the move, dives, nope. One hops off the wall. Wynn will stop at second base. So a double. You can see where Ankiel thought about going after it.
He thought about going. I don't think he would have gotten anywhere near it, so he was better to stay on his feet. But had him played around the other way, and so it was a long run. Usually a ball that is hit that high and stays in the park usually is caught, but defensively he had a long way to go because he was playing him over in right center and he hit the ball in left center.
So 1 out, runner at second base after the double by Wynn. And here's Molina. Molina is 1 for 2. Strike 1 on Molina. 1 ball, 1 strike. 9-1 St. Louis. Wellemeyer's only allowed 4 hits. Pitch total at 90. The bottom of this inning, the Cardinals will send up Pujols first, and Keel, and then Gloss. If you're just joining us, the Cardinals got a run in the first, 2 in the third, and 6 in the fourth. Highlighted by the home run from Albert Pujols. Pujols can take his time. Wellemeyer covering over at first. Wynn advances to third. Greg Maddux trying to pick up win number 350 tonight. And he will face unbeaten Dan Herron.
And he's given up 6 runs in the first inning. I don't think it's his night.
No.
And with Dan Herron on the mound opposing him, that might be it for San Diego.
You could see where Arizona would be very tough. They've got their top 3 going, and that includes Randy Johnson, but they've got Brandon Webb, who's already got 4 wins to lead the league. Then Herron and Randy Johnson.
A nice balanced ball club too.
That's fun to watch. Just seems like all those young players are now really starting to hit their stride at this level.
Yeah. Homegrown guys in Colorado, kind of like what a lot of the clubs want to do in the National League. They're the example of homegrown talent and a key trade or a key acquisition.
1-2 the count.
Future MVP playing in the Midwest League.
What's his name?
Mike Mee.
Mike Mee.
Mike Mee. Once he learns to hit the changeup.
Got him to chase and a strikeout for Wellemeyer. midway through 6. All St. Louis tonight. It's 9-1. Back in St. Louis, 9-1 Cardinals on 9 hits. Pujols, Ankiel, and Gloss coming up. And here's our Hardy's hot pitch of the game.
Well, you see a rising fastball and gets him to change it, chase it.
Get the impression that Tony La Russa just loves the fact that so many people counted them out spring training, and now he has got, record-wise at least, one of the better teams in baseball, and this is going deep right by Big Mac land. You hit one up there, it should count.
That was a pitch that most hitters, you know, if they hit it to maybe the left field. But very few guys have the quickness and have that strength where they can take that inside pitch and not get their extension and hit it that far and out.
The 2-0 to Pujols. Up the middle, base hit. The other thing that amazes me about those inside pitches, not only can he pull them, but he's able to somehow keep them fair.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, because his hands stay back. His hands are inside the ball, and just, you know, most of the time when a guy's hitting and his elbows are touching his midsection, you know you jammed him. But Albert, that was somewhat how he hit that ball up into the upper deck.
So here we go. Rick Ankiel is out, and here is Ryan Ludwig.
Got a phone to Tony.
Four hits in the ball game yesterday.
Tony asking for help again?
No,
Look at that. 390. Came in tied for the team lead with home runs and RBIs, and he can't crack the starting lineup.
got to get that 5th hit. Hope you enjoyed Ludwig on our FSN Spotlight.
I did.
Learned a little bit more about the Cardinal outfielder. Been with a bunch of different organizations. 2nd-round pick by the Oakland A's, and maybe, just maybe, he's finally getting his chance here in the big leagues to show what he can do.
Well, he showed us last year that he can play up here.
Now, prior to last season, the most at bats that he had in the majors during a season was 162. He's going to get plenty of at bats the way that he's going right now. 2-0 pitch. Has that element of power from this side of the plate too. Off the bench. Had a couple of injuries that sidetracked him along the way. He's now 30 years old. The 2-1 pitch. The ball just jumps off his bat, and he can center it.
And just a good guy, too. You know, he's pleasant to be around. Davis out in center, scratching his back on the outfield wall.
And a walk. You see Davis near the 400 sign.
4th walk for this reliever. "25 balls out of his 40 pitches.
No activity for the Giants. Now somebody's up. Starting to get loose. Gloss has walked, fly to left, and struck out back in the 1st.
Hennessy gets up. He was up last inning because the pitcher spot was due up. New catcher in this game is Ortmeyer's out in right field. There you see Brad Hennessy. They're kind of they got Holmes, their catcher.
Two 2-0. A little over 6 hours in that 22-inning game last night. The 2-0 pitch. Old foul.
Aaron Miles is on deck, so both managers getting a nice opportunity to get a little rest for some of their guys with a day game tomorrow.
Gloss just flips the bat in frustration there, and the catch is made. His struggles continue.
Saw Rico Washington in the dugout with a bat, but Miles will get this assignment, and then
This is one way how you can keep your guys sharp.
sure. So you guys want playing time? Well, just go out and score a whole bunch of runs, have a lopsided game, get a well-pitched game, and everybody plays in the affair.
The 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Is bounced a couple of feet in front of the plate, and it's 2-1.
Good luck, Rigetti. 29 out of 47 pitches are out of the strike zone.
Two and two. Two is hit to second. That's 1, and that's 2. Double play. 4-6-3 double play. We head to the 7th. Cardinal Baseball is brought to you by Rico. Move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. By your local St. Louis Chrysler dealers. And by Jack in the Box. We don't make it until you order it. Fire Engine House number 2. The corner of Tucker and Spruce. Ray Durham will be the pinch hitter. Changes for the Cardinals. Miles takes over at second base. Skip Schumacher moves from right to center. Ryan Ludwig in the ball game. He stays in and plays right field. Durham is hitting just 189. 9-1 Cardinals here in the 7th. Very well could be the final inning of work for Wellemeyer. He is due up second, and pitch count up to 97. Cardinals wasted the start by Kyle Lowe's yesterday and dropping that game late. Boy, was he good again, Al.
Yes, he was. And I mean, it's a shame. He very easily, conceivably, could be 4-0.
Very much so.
ERA in the low ones.
Two and two.
Durham, two-time All-Star, veteran here.
In the air to left field. Chris Duncan is there for the first out.
Willemeyer's 100th pitch. 65 of those have been strikes. 101, maybe 66. I'll get the phone active right now in the Cardinal bullpen, but Tony is hopeful that Todd will get through the inning.
Here's Castillo with one out. Fouled back. So an early start tomorrow here on FSN, 11 o'clock in the morning with the pregame show.
Ron Vallone, lefty, will get up in the Cardinal bullpen.
What have you heard about Tyler Johnson, who has been on the DL all season long?
Getting better, starting to throw, but kind of like flat-footed. And I think they're projecting about first week in May. Maybe he would possibly at that time would go out on a rehab.
0-2 the count to Castillo. Hit to short. Isturis up with it. 2 outs. Tune in tomorrow at 5:30 for Cardinals Crew, sponsored by Shriners Hospitals for Children. Andy Bennis and Fred Byrne will bring you stories about the annual Cardinals Crew Kids Club Party. Balls and strikes tip of the week. You'll learn how to throw a fastball and a changeup. Cardinals Crew is brought to you by Shriners Hospitals for Children. Tomorrow at 5:30. This is Bocock with 2 outs.
Real strong outing for Wellemeyer. He'd get this final out here.
It's so big to win game 1 of a series, but especially when you don't know what to expect from Pinheiro tomorrow.
Well, you don't know that. Tony, it gives them deep into this game to where, you don't have to overtax that bullpen. Good out.
Another strikeout. Time to stretch here at Busch Stadium on this Friday night. 9-1 St. Louis. Returning for the 7th season, it's the Hyundai Long Drive inning. Entry blanks for your chance to win a 2008 Hyundai Sonata are at your St. Louis area Hyundai dealers as we speak. Cardinal fans, Saturday, May 17th is the Kids Play Day here at Busch Stadium. All fans ages 15 and under receive a customized dinner plate featuring Cardinals slugger Albert Pujols. It's compliments of Powerade and Walgreens, and only available on May 17th against the Tampa Bay Rays.
A chance to see that plate here tonight. That's going to be a fan favorite. Blue plate with a nice action shot of Albert swinging the bat. Looks like it connected on one, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Brad Hennessy comes in the game. 8th appearance, 1-0 in the year.
Here's Jason LaRue. He picked up his first base hit wearing this Cardinal uniform back in the 4th. LaRue, high fly ball out to left. Lewis going back with plenty of room to make the catch.
Your attention, please, for the Cardinals. Batting for the pitcher, Todd Wellemeyer. Number 54, Brian Barton.
They love him already.
Now this is how you get all 5 of those outfielders in a game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the way to do it. Tonight is Wellemeyer's first time ever throwing 100+ pitches in a game. First time ever.
Well, it's also, more importantly, 100+ at going 7 innings. Very fine pitching. 4 hits allowed, only 1 run, walked 2, struck out 6, and made his pitching coach very pleased.
1-0 pitch to Barton.
You know your buddy, John Miller, lives on his house. He has a fault that goes right through his backyard.
John Miller?
Yeah. And Seal Cove, the Seal Cove fault. He said, could have an earthquake there, could happen in 1,000 years, could happen next week. He said, I'm rooting for the 1,000 years.
I wouldn't think he's going for next week.
That's what happened. You know, he could have an island there.
John Miller. 2-1 pitch. Did not go. 3-1. Barton, left center. Davis calls for it and makes the catch. Sunday, it's the groundbreaking show that earned 4 Emmy nominations for combining sports and science. It returns this week as we look back at some of the most incredible, unforgettable moments from the past. The best of sports science this Sunday at 9 here on FSN Midwest. So Wellemeyer is out of this game after 7 innings tonight. Here's Isturis on base twice with a double, run scored, and a walk.
Hennessy's trying to rediscover his changeup. Game like this, maybe a good opportunity to do so.
Only time that Wellemeyer has thrown 7 innings was on one other occasion. That was April 7th of the season. You might remember that game at Houston. Easy play. Isturis is out, number 3. So Todd Wellemeyer in line for win number 2. It's 9-1. Crowd of 40,684 tonight. Started out as a rainy evening here in St. Louis, but it stayed away, and Todd Wellemeyer, as we got this game underway on time, has been sharp. Now lifted after 7 innings. Duncan with a home run that just barely cleared the wall in right. Chris Duncan on the day, double, home run, a walk, and then Pujols. One of the longest home runs of the season. 3-run shot. He's got 4 RBIs. And a couple of hits. Jack in the Box game recap, and now it's Ron Vallone. He takes over for the Cardinals.
Time to give him some work, and be interesting to see if they don't try to let him close this out. Pitched both innings. It's only his 6th appearance on the season. Only 2 2/3 innings on the year.
First man he'll face is Davis, and a strike at the knees.
It's kind of this 11th different ball club he's been with. Be a spot starter, long man, specialist.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Isturis gets it out of the glove in time. Like he had a little trouble with it, but he made the play. So Vallone gets the first that he sees to start this 8th inning. Brings in Fred Lewis, a left fielder. 2 strikeouts for Lewis on the night. Stolen base and also a single and an RBI.
Let's take a look at this last pitch here. Turn it over a little bit. Saw that ball slide away from the right-handed batter. Former #1 draft pick of Seattle. One time was traded from Seattle to San Diego for Andy Bennis. course, I could say that. He's been traded so many times.
Be like the Kevin Bacon thing. You start tracking one player to this player to that player. All would have a connection to Ron Malone. No balls, 2 strikes on Lewis. Didn't like the last strikeout against him as looked to be a borderline pitch. Umpires remember that. As he was walking away, he was shaking his head. One-two pitch. I want to wish all the best to Haley Hilke, who works on the Cardinal charters. And Haley is just a terrific person, helps out us, the players, the staff. Going through a tough time right now and battling cancer, and we wish her nothing but the best.
Nice lady. And wish her a speedy recovery. She'll be traveling with us as much as she possibly can. We hope that's awesome.
3-2 pitch. Fouled back. Albert Pujols is still in this game.
Yeah, he still has his gold glove. See that symbol right there? That if you're a gold glove winner, Rawlings will make that glove for you with the golden strap on the back. Hold still. Can't get the telestrator to work. Then it goes, you know, hold on. Now turn where you see it, Albert. There you see the gold. Hey, if he keeps on holding there, that's good camera work right there.
Well,
guessing where my circle will be.
Maybe we can get a freeze of the glove. Into shallow right. Ludwig. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Now, you should have seen last night. I went out and got my French bullfrog, and should have seen the action of what that bullfrog did when right before the earthquake. I knew something was coming.
Pedro?
Yeah. Friday named me Pedro.
Two outs, and here's Ortmeyer, his first time up into right. That's a base hit.
Lewis kind of running that bag. Watch him pick up his third base coach, Flannery. Now he runs there, almost stumbles.
Twisted his ankle, looked like his
ankle,
left ankle.
and then Ludwig snaps the throw back in, and he had to stand on that bag. Also got a call from Thomas Cullinane, my optometrist, who said you need a new eye appointment.
For people that didn't see it, it was a Did You Know with Troy Gloss and his French dog.
Bulldog that somehow I turned into a bullfrog.
And he thought the dog's name was Pedro.
Yeah, that was
Petro.
That was a French French bullfrog named Pedro. I guess I do need the eye exam.
Runners at first and second. Ben and Will Tinsley want to wish Ryan Allgaier speedy recovery. He's out of the hospital, resting at home and watching Cardinal baseball tonight.
Kenny's son?
I'm not sure. 1-1 pitch to Holm. 2 balls and a strike. First plate appearance for the catcher, Steve Holm.
He's out of Oral Roberts University.
The 2-1. Foul back.
Prior to this season, Steve Holm had never played above Double-A. And he's native of Sacramento. Never played catcher until after he was drafted by the Giants. Lifetime .255 hitter, 29 home runs, 91 RBIs in 220 contests over 7 years.
Bottom line, this team, the Cardinals, have pitched out of the gate here in 2008. Right down the middle. Takes a called third strike. Giants strand 2. It's 9-1 midway through 8.
Welcome back to Busch Stadium. It's 9-1 Cardinals. Coming up after the game on the show, Pat Paris and Rick Horton are going to break it down and analyze, hopefully, a Cardinals victory. Tony La Russa live, plenty of post-game reaction, and an update on Chris Carpenter as he continues to try to be patient and aim towards that all-star break return. That and more on the post-game show, brought to you by UL Cellular. It's Cardinals Live right after we are done at the ballpark. Dan and Al?
All right, thank you, Brent. James Boyd down there right next to Tony La Russa.
Now, Tony asks James all the time for advice.
Maybe that's why they made the switch with Ludwig and Keel.
Close working relationship.
The 0-1 pitch. Camden Cooper, Scott Cooper's brand new little baby boy, is enjoying his first Cardinal game tonight, watching at home. Resting comfortably.
Good.
But not for long.
Mom and Dad either. So you've been flying solo this weekend, right?
Yes, sir.
Or this week?
Yesterday, today, this weekend. Hard hit out to left, and Lewis is there. So desperate for help, I might even bring you in.
Told you I'd get there.
A great player is a player who takes a chance. Branch Rickey, Geico quote, took a chance on Jackie Robinson.
Right. You know, if you're going to play safety, you know, if you're going to just afraid to make a mistake, you're going to make more mistakes. Times you got to push it. You got to believe in your ability.
Duncan takes a ball.
Maybe you learn a lot when you make mistakes too.
How about Kyle Lowe's yesterday and how well he pitched? Like you said, he very easily could have 4 wins. Took a no decision, 5 innings, 2 runs, struck out 3 as he pitched into the 8th. The team ERA last year was 20th in baseball. Right now it's 5th in the league.
Kyle's 1.48 with his 4 starts over 24 1/3 innings. And remember, we only had 12 innings in spring training. Wainwright, Carpenter, look at all the starters are right there, and the big boss, Carpenter, right there. I just wish he was around more to help these guys along. They're doing okay on their own. There's Mulder also. But talking baseball, talking little things, that's how you learn. You know, the only way you really learn to pitch is to be out there on that mound. But you can talk to those veterans right there, and they can prepare you for when you get on the mound.
Upstairs to Duncan, taking for ball 4. Cardinals have scored 6 runs today, so remember, you get a 20-ounce coffee, fountain, or frozen drink for only $1 all day tomorrow at On the Run at Mobile. Win or lose, Cardinals score 6. You score 25-cent drinks at On the Run. How about that deal? That's pretty good. You can thank Albert Pujols tomorrow to get your coffee. He's got 4 RBIs. Rico Washington, first pitch, shallow left. Lewis makes the catch.
Yeah, I don't drink coffee. I don't put anything bad in my body.
Is that right? Two outs, and here is Ludwig. Ludwig did not start this game, to the surprise of many, and look how it worked out. 9-1. Cardinals lead it.
Getting his second plate appearance as he spelled Rick Ankiel. You saw Kennedy there. Everybody getting a little fun time because of good pitching. Everybody getting a chance to tune it up. Gonna be a quick turnaround again tomorrow, right?
Big time.
On the air at 11.
11 o'clock, the pregame show with Pat Paris. 0-2 pitch, trying to elevate. There has been a disappointment along the way with this great start. It's been the very beginning of the season right now for Troy Gloss, trying to get on track. 1-2 pitch. Ludwig into right, base hit.
Continues his assault on San Francisco pitching. 4 for 5 yesterday. He's 1 for 1 and a walk here today. He was 5 for 11 with 3 home runs and 5 RBIs last weekend in San Francisco. And you know what? Even though Troy is about going to finish this year with his 10th year in Major League service, you still feel pressure coming to a new club and wanting to deliver. I think when it's all said and done, the numbers should be there for him. He's always had the track record. When he's healthy, he'll put up lofty numbers.
And as he said, it's one at bat away. Just trying to get one at bat to go my way, and then it just starts to snowball.
You know, when you have confidence and you have a track record, he's exactly right. Just one good thing to happen, and then you can build on it from there. Say, that's what I remember. That's the muscle memory swing. There's that changeup that Hennessy last year gave up, stopped throwing, took it away from him. But Hal McRae, I was standing at the batting cage the other day, and Troy hit a couple balls out, and Hal was saying, see, look at that. You didn't even swing hard. You didn't swing hard. His swing is late right now, and that's why he's kind of looping and hitting a lot of pop-ups to right field. But once he starts centering some balls and probably gets that first home run or really hits the ball the way he wants to, he'll build from there.
One pitch.
You see he's mad at himself because he's just tardy. And athletes are so, it's so mental. And you get muscle memory. See, Tony's going, what are you seeing, Hal? And it's just muscle memory. When you have to think about it, you're going to be a tard late. But when you all of a sudden it just clicks in and you just know that, trust your hands and that your hands will get to the point of contact.
Two and two. Brian McRae is in town this weekend. Hal's son. 2-2 pitch. This might be the pitch here. 3-2, 9-1 game.
The only problem is he's probably saying, well, I'm going to look for a fastball, and Hennessy goes, you know, it's a 9-1 game. I don't want to give up anything, but I'm trying to resurrect my changeup. That's not the pitch he's going to be looking for. Of course, if he makes a bad location, that will definitely speed up your bat.
Runners off with the pitch, the 3-2. Hit hard. There's a base hit for Troy Gloss. And an RBI, his 9th of the season, and it makes it 10-1 Cardinals.
The thing was, on that road trip, the first part of the road trip, he was getting RBIs, kind of like a slider, and kind of sits up there a little bit, and he catches a break. Was not an artistic play, but still that big swing, and that ball eats up the third baseman, Castillo. Sometimes you got to have a little luck too.
First and third for Aaron Miles, with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Cardinals with a run in the first, 2 in the third, 6 in the 4th, and now they have added to it with 1 here in the 8th. Not a lot of star power with this Giants team, but fun player to watch is their starter tomorrow, Lincecum. Valdez is getting loose in the pen for San Francisco.
Getty out to talk to another young pitcher, another Form 1 draft pick, good arm. But here's another guy. He's got 33 pitches, 18 of those are balls.
What kind of adjustment do you think it is now for the Giants when they go on the road, in particular with these pitchers dealing with the opposing mounds? Because the Cardinals, they all talked about it. The mound there was much different. You wonder if it's a struggle for the Giants pitchers to make that adjustment on the road.
No. You know, because this is what they're accustomed to, is having a normal mound with a normal slope, and they can get acclimated to the bullpen mound and take here. The problem they have is they have to make an unusual adjustment for their home mound, so they should be thankful and appreciate going on the road. And by the way, everybody should be thankful because it's bonus for the fans tonight at the game. Free Big Macs for everybody at the game. 25-cent coffee for everyone tomorrow at Mobile on the Run, because we scored 6 runs or more. And buy one, get one free shakes at Hardee's.
Up the middle, base hit, Miles, an RBI. 11-1 St. Louis.
And if this game lasts long enough and the temperature drops 2 more degrees, it'll be free tans at the Tan Company.
Let me see that.
But you know, I think it's, what is it, 62 or something? If the temperature drops below a certain temperature, there's free tans. So we got 2 more degrees to go. Big Macs, coffee, shakes, and tans. Boy, you got it made.
It's like Christmas morning.
Malone's going, oh my gosh, I got a hit. He's done that in the past. He's been a starting pitcher. When he struck out 16 Cardinals one year.
LaRue is swinging a miss, 0-2. 10-run lead for the Cardinals.
Where did I see that they instituted the 10-run rule? I think it was a high school game or something. But the team won 54-0.
Wow.
The guy pitched a no-hitter.
There's a 10-run rule in college baseball.
But this might have been college, you know, but it was they scored something like 35 runs in the first inning.
Now, let me tell you about the Big 12 rule. It's getaway days is the only time that is done in the Big 12. Getaway days, 10-run rule.
Bochy he'd take it right here. In the day game tomorrow.
Let's get back to the hotel and get ready to roll for game 2. Malone, 1 home run and 7 RBIs in his career.
Matter of fact, I'm sure Jason LaRue was catching Malone that night where he struck out 16 Cardinals. Looks like a hitter.
One-two pitch. We head to the 9th as the catch is made. Cardinals add to their lead. It's 11-1 St. Louis. Cardinals baseball on FSM Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser, who thanks you for being a designated driver. And by Chevrolet. See for yourself, shop and compare at stlchevy.com. Rico Washington and Troy Gloss. And Rico is over at third. Gloss is all smiles after his RBI double. Takes over at first. He's a former shortstop. It's Troy Gloss. Playing in college. High school as well. Played at UCLA. Here's Malone. And the first pitch is a ball. Second inning of work for Ron Malone. Trying to finish this game off. Get the Cardinals to win number 12.
How about the year that Chipper Jones is off to? He homers again tonight for the second.
Wow.
2 home runs tonight for the second night in a row.
Hall of Famer in your mind?
Oh boy, I'd have to look at the numbers, but
he's getting close.
He's getting up there, you know.
Played on a World Series team, switch hitter with power.
He's homer #1 draft pick in the country. Signed as a shortstop. I first saw him at the Satellite League All-Star game. He was a shortstop for his organization. The youngster was trying to get in the game. He wanted to tell Tony he's a lefty, he could pitch.
The other one's trying to go home.
He's into it, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's winding up.
2-2 the count. Pinheiro and Lincecum tomorrow. Looper looks to go 4-0 on Sunday against Jonathan Sanchez. Cubs beat the Pirates 3-2 today. Kerry Wood the save. 3-2 pitch, ball 4. Brewers hold off the Reds 5-2. Hall a 2-run homer, RBI by Fielder. Astros trailing in the top of the 8th to the Rockies 9-4. This is Rich Aurelia. The Rockies arrived at their Houston hotel after the morning rush hour in Houston. How about that? After what they went through last night. Sampson was the starter. He went 2/3 of an inning. Diamondbacks leading the Padres 7-0. That's in the top of the 7th. Danny Aaron, 4 innings. 1 hit. And the Mets over the Phillies. It's a final now. 6-4. Santana gets the win. He goes 7 innings. 2 RBIs each for Delgado and Wright. Oh, 1 pitch. Rich Aurelia used to be a power hitting shortstop with this organization.
Oh yeah, 30 home run type guy. A lot of RBIs. Had good numbers against the Cardinals in his career. Had troubles last season, but about 11 years in the big leagues. I think 8 of them with the Giants.
One and two the count.
Murphy's had kind of a quiet night down there because of Wellemeyer's great start.
Two-two pitch. Aurelia spent some time in Cincinnati, Seattle.
He had a real good year in 06 with Cincinnati. Hit 300, 23 home runs, 70 RBIs. Last year he struggled. Injury-plagued season, and he's 0 for his last 10 this year.
2-2 pitch.
Now Malone's having trouble. He's already walked 2 in his 1+ inning. Do not walk anybody. You want to get your manager and pitching coach upset with him.
As you mentioned before, though, hadn't had much work. Hadn't seen him since Sunday, so getting plenty of work right now. On the infield, the shortstop wants it. That's his Turris, and he makes the catch.
You know, Ron, the veteran, knows how to stay ready.
Budweiser, great player of the game. Budweiser, the great American lager. Who else? Albert Pujols going deep with this home run, thanks to Albert. Folks here at the ballpark. Free Big Mac tomorrow at McDonald's. Budweiser player of the game. Albert Pujols with 4 RBIs.
4 RBIs. 2 for 4 night. Keeps that on-base percentage at over 500.
Double play ball possibly. 4, 6, 3, and the Cardinals win it. They're now 12-5. 13 hits tonight for the Cardinals. Crowd of 40,684. They're rolling along. 12-5. U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live is coming up on FSN.
The game is over with a Cardinals blowout victory over the Giants, but we're just getting started on U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live. And while the offense was on fire tonight, you want to talk pitching, which was equally good.
Well, the offense was good, but this pitching has been unbelievable. I think it's about time we started giving some credit to Dave Duncan for making these pitchers believe that they could do what they're doing.
And they are impressive. We're going to talk more about that. Plus, as we continue on U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live, you thought the ground was shaking this morning in St. Louis. Well, the Cardinals looking to rock the Giants all weekend long. We'll break down game 1. And if you think the earth moved earlier today, just wait until we give out our weekly Hungo Award. Plus, we'll go all access inside the Cardinals clubhouse. Bring you Tony La Russa's comments as well. That's all coming up on U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live after the 11-1 victory tonight here at Busch Stadium.